First of all, this is a map of Western Balkans, and as you all know, 90s were not a good time in the Western Balkans because we had a lot of armed conflicts, and due to the fact that we had wars, inter and intrastate relations in the region were not really developing. In 2001 was the year actually where democratic changes took place in most of the countries in the Western Balkans. I mean, in the biggest countries of Western Balkans, here I mean Croatia and Serbia. And this actually, in a way, shifted democratic forces in other countries also to join. So 2000 and 2001 were the actually years when things happened in the Western Balkans. In 2003, Thessaloniki summit, which was organized then by the Greece, who was presiding over the EU, and had EU Council meeting in Thessaloniki in Greece, actually was maybe the biggest political incentive which was given to the countries of Western Balkans. Actually, EU member states, prime ministers and presidents said that the future of the Western Balkans is in the EU. And since then, well, all governments of the Western Balkan countries and all civil society actors are using this wording when they want to emphasize and when they want to engage actually that the future of the Western Balkans is in the EU. Since then, and thanks to this meeting, Europeanization of the Western Balkans started, and actually now it is the driving force of the reforms in the Western Balkans. Everything that is done as a justification of the fact that you want to join the EU, whether it's good or bad, which has some bad sides to it. When it comes to the particular country's relation to the EU, all the countries of the Western Balkans are now in the contractual relationship with the EU through SAA agreements, which are the specific arrangements between the EU and particular country. SAA stands for Stabilization and Association Agreements, and actually through this SAP process, country and government is actually trying to cope with stabilization, shift towards market economy, and that which is more relevant to us, to civil society relations, to establish rule of law criteria, civil society development, respect for human and minority rights, and all things which are important for the country to be truly democratic and open. EU membership criteria, which are justified through this accession process, is actually judged through Copenhagen criteria as coming from Bulgaria set through EU acquis. Copenhagen criteria are a set of political criteria which are judging countries' parliamentary democracy, then, excuse me? Yeah, okay. Copenhagen criteria then means parliamentary democracy, rule of law, minority rights, and then set of norms and legislation which should be implemented, that is EU acquis. Basically, all norms which are implemented, proposed and implemented by EU has to be actually taken and adopted by the particular country. I just mentioned here what are the actually important topics and issues which are tackled through this accession process. And in this regard, EU, having in mind lessons learned from previous experience, as Paul said, FAIR program, CARDS program, support program, actually built, particularly for the Western Balkan countries, IPA, financial assistance instrument, which is taking some, I would say, good lessons from previous enlargements, but also inventing some new additional things which are particularly important for the Western Balkans. As I said, we had conflicts, we had wars, and for example, one of the key membership criteria which were not taken into account in previous enlargements is regional cooperation and reconciliation, because we had interstate and interstate conflicts, and this is particularly important when it comes to Western Balkans. Then we have state building, rule of law, administrative judicial reform, fight against corruption, supporting economic reforms, and civil society development, which is a separate and specific segment of the IPA assistance. When it comes to the civil society development, this is maybe important to say because you should maybe know a little bit more about the origin of the civil society development. Western Balkans has this particular history of conflict, and civil society organizations actually were built as a reaction to the wars. And that is why all or almost all civil society organizations are built on this experience of post-conflict, non-nationalistic, non-violent, anti-war protest. The oldest organizations in the Western Balkans are those organizations which actually were established at the beginning of the wars in 1991. And then, from that time, all these organizations were actually built or trying to build on this experience. And that is something which is particularly important to understand when it comes to civil society development in the Western Balkans. Since then, at that time, they are all trying to be agents of reforms. They are usually, I would say that we have two periods of the development of civil society, where the government was perceived as hostile, and it was the case in the 90s, because obviously, the government was violating human rights, and that civil society organizations were trying to do something about that. And after the 2000, when actually government was not seen as hostile, but seen as potential partner. This potential means that it can be a partner, but sometimes it won't be. All these liberal political values like human rights, minority rights, freedoms like freedom of press, freedom of assembly, free elections were monitored and reported by the human rights organizations which are the most important, I would say, and the most active still organizations in the region. And then since the time that actually it was the maturity period where actually civil society organizations but also government recognized the importance of having cooperation with the civil society organizations, institutional arrangements set to enable this cooperation are various from country to country. It was the first time in 2001 actually that Croatia, which was and still is the most advanced country of the region, introduced this special memorandum of cooperation with the civil society organizations. And based on that, still Croatia has the most advanced cooperation, having office for the civil society organizations. Now they have national endowment, which is I would say 80%, 75% funded by the government. So they have their own foundation, which actually supports civil society organizations. But in the other countries as well, we have a different arrangements. For example, in Montenegro, there is an office within every ministry for cooperation with the civil society organizations. In Bosnia also. In Serbia, we have, and in Serbia it is perceived as an EU integration drive to have special relations between the office, which is charged for EU integration, and civil society organizations. That's why they signed a special protocol and memorandum of understanding. And this is something relatively new. But when I'm thinking how much actually civil society organizations, even though they have cooperation, that they are institutionalized, have real impact on the policy process, I would say it's relatively low. And there are some reasons I put for saying so. And first of all is the unwillingness of the government to recognize civil society organizations as stakeholders. This means that actually civil society organizations are seen as something which came from the West, as something which is important, and not inherited among citizens per se. So actually we have to cooperate with the civil society organizations because we want to go to the EU, not because, I mean, there is importance of cooperation. A lot of policy making processes in these countries are happening without public eye in it. It is not clear why some laws are brought and why some didn't. There are limited capacities of civil society organizations to cope with some expert fields where actually civil society organizations don't see or don't have anything to say. I'll be brief because I was warned that my time is expired. Having in mind previous enlargements, EU itself actually introduced two instruments of cooperation between civil society organizations and government. First one is civil dialogue, and the other one is civic partnership. Civil dialogue was introduced relatively recently in three different conferences between the government and civil society organizations. The other one is partnerships, which is also built in the enlargement strategy of the EU Commission from 2007. Thanks to this, we have this special instrument of help and assistance to civil society organization. It's called Civil Society Facility. And, well, this is a breakdown chart of the assistance. $38.5 million in the last 2 years. And just briefly, civil society facility contains technical assistance and capacity building of the civil society organization through trainings, seminars, workshops, and stuff, and the other type of activities. People-to-people programs. So far, 600 civil society leaders from the region went to Brussels to meet and discuss with the EU officials and partnership actions. The EU Commission is trying, again, build on the previous experiences to get together civil society organizations from the EU member states and from the Western Balkans so they can apply for the grants from the EU Commission. It's too early to evaluate this process. It is just happening. Their approach is accession. It is not locally driven. This is something which can be objection at the early stages. This is something which you can read in my paper, so I don't need to go into this. And thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to your questions and answers.